Hi guys, welcome to Classic TV Facts and Trivia. Thank you for being here. Today's video is on one I'm probably not going to get a lot of views on, but I found this really cool. And I hope you'll share this out with your family and friends because it's so cool. Batman, Beaver, and Bombs. Madge Blake's shocking past. Growing up, I must admit that I wasn't Madge Blake's biggest fan. You see, when Aunt Harriet Cooper showed up on the screen in 1960s Batman television series, it usually signaled to a younger version of me that there would be a break in the action. Usually those scenes with Madge were in stately Wayne Manor, and let's face it, folks, they were pretty darn boring. However, as we reached adulthood and finally went back and revisited the classic television series, I'm kind of surprised to discover that even though, as Robert Markham over at writeups.org and so gleefully points out, Aunt Harriet had no real powers or abilities on the show, just a stern tone of voice regularly practiced on Dick Grayson. Probably really enjoyed Madge's work on the show. Maybe that was because we also discovered another classic television character that Madge had brought to life. Now we're referring to Margaret Mondello, Larry's mom on Leave It to Beaver. Much like Aunt Harriet, Margaret was a kind but easily exasperated woman, and come on, how could you blame her when she had to put up with all of Larry's shenanigans? And why was Larry's dad always out of town? Now, speaking of classic sitcoms, believe it or not, Madge was up for the part of Aunt Bee on the Andy Griffith Show. But due to scheduling conflicts with Leave It to Beaver, she couldn't take the role. But here's a fun fact. She actually recommended her friend Frances Bobbier for the part, and of course Frances went on to make Aunt Bee another unforgettable character in television history. Another little-known fact about Madge is that she had gotten to know Frances while working with her as a live-action references for the 1959 Walt Disney animated feature Sleeping Beauty. You know, it's pretty cool to think two of the three fairy godmothers were Aunt Bee and Aunt Harriet. For a while there, Madge seemed to be everywhere. According to a journalist, Becky Tanner, who chronicled Madge's career in Wichita Eagle way back in 2012, Madge was in some of the best-known sitcoms of the 50s and 60s. She was a babysitter in a pilot episode of Dennis the Menace. She played the president of the Jack Benny fan club in the Jack Benny program, and appears as Mitch Comstock, a school official on the Addams Family. Let's get back to Batman. You know that the producers of the show considered firing her at one point. Don't know exactly why, but if I were to guess, I bet it had something to do with declining ratings and a reduced show budget, or perhaps it had more to do with an overall concern about her health. More on that. Unfortunately, we have Adam West, the original Batman, to thank for Aunt Harriet sticking around. Apparently, he and Madge had become very close friends, and when he heard about her potential firing, he put his foot down. And the very next day, Adam found a freshly baked cake in his dressing room. Thanks to Adam, we got to enjoy Madge's charm throughout the series. Well, if I'm going to be entirely accurate, I believe Aunt Harriet just made 2 or 3 appearances on screen during the show's 3rd and final season. That's because Madge's health, which has never been great, took a turn for the worse just a year later in '69, and she would pass away. I believe it was reported as a heart attack, but from what I understand, her health was so bad that her heart just stopped working. Either way, she was just 69 at the time of her death, which is far too young. Now, let's wrap up the celebration of Madge Blake's creative attributions to the arts with this piece of non-entertainment trivia. Did you know that during World War II that she and her husband actually worked on the Manhattan Project? According to numerous sources, Madge, along with her husband, James Lincoln Blake, worked in Utah on the construction of a detonator for the atomic bomb and performed other jobs such as testing equipment destined for the Manhattan Project. She and her husband both received citations for their work from the U.S. government, no doubt about it. The woman lived an extremely fascinating life. I really hope a lot of people watch this one because this is so interesting. I just found this incredibly interesting, especially the atomic bomb thing. It's crazy. Aunt Harriet helped create the atomic bomb. There you go. Please subscribe if you have not yet. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it. You guys have a great day. God bless. I'm praying for you.